Yeah, well, thank you so much for visiting this channel, Learn English in Bright School, and we're gonna discuss how to use simple past tense as non-verbal. It means the predicate functions as non-verbal. You know that a sentence can also be completed with action verb and can also be completed with non-verbal. Next, first we have to break down what is simple past tense. Simple past tense is used to describe situations in the past time, things that happened in the past time. Next, number two, simple past tense as non-verbal is followed with adjective. So the predicate can be adjective. Adjective can consist of beautiful, sad, smart, modern, and many other adjective words that we can use. Next, we also can use noun. The noun can be a person, time, place, and a thing. This is as a complement in the predicate sentence. Next, we use be. Because this is already simple past tense, so we have to use be, was, and were. Was and were for past time. So it comes from is and am. Is, am becomes was. Are becomes were. Okay, I believe that everybody has understood how to use it. Next, adverb of time that we use in simple past time is yesterday. Yesterday means in bahasa kemarin, this morning, tadi pagi, long time ago, dahulu kala, last week, minggu yang lalu, last night, tahun yang lalu, last month, bulan yang lalu, last year, tahun yang lalu, 2 years ago, 2 tahun yang lalu. Let's see that these adverb of time we use to help or to describe the things or the activities that happened in the past time. Well, we're gonna learn how to formulate positive form in sentences. Look at this. Look at the form subject plus be. So the be can be was and were. Plus complement. The complement can be adjective, can be a noun. Well, let's see some examples that I have put here. Number one, adjective. Steve was sad yesterday. Look at this, Steve is subject and was sad is the predicate, or we call non-verb, and yesterday is adverb of time in the past. Number two, I was so happy this morning. I is subject, was is linking verb or be, so happy is predicate or non-verb, and this morning is showing the time in the past. Next, number three, your house was empty last night. Your house is subject, was is linking verb or be, and then empty is adjective, last night is adverb of time in the past. Next, they were friendly. They were friendly. They is the subject and were is be, and friendly is adjective. They were friendly. Well, next, my friends were smart and diligent. My friends is the subject and were is the be or linking verb, and then smart and diligent is adjective. Well, now let's look at these examples using noun. Steve was a student 1 year ago. So Steve is as a subject and was is be. A student is a person or a noun. 1 year ago is showing the time in the past. Next, she was a manager. She is the subject and we use was. And a manager is a person or a noun. In 2014 is showing the time. Next, Jack was in New York. Jack was in New York last week. Jack is subject and we use be here was because this is singular or one. In New York is showing the time, or I'm sorry, in New York is showing the place. Last week is showing the time in the past. Next, I was at home last night. I was at home last night. I is the subject and Was is be. At home is showing the place. Okay, last night is showing the past time. Next, we were students several years ago. We were students several years ago. We is the subject and we use be were. Students is noun or persons, and then several years ago is showing the past time. So these are the sentences using the positive form as non-verbal. Well, let's look at negative form. How is the formulation? The formulation is subject plus was or were plus not. So to make it negative, we just add not after be. Was not, were not. And then complement. So the complement can be noun, can be adjective. Well, let's look at sentences using adjective. Mary was not sad yesterday. Mary is subject, was not sad. Tidak sedih kemarin. Okay, number 2, Steve was not happy this morning. Steve is subject, was not happy is predicate or non-verb. This morning is past time. Next, number 3, I was not late to school. I was not late to school. I is subject, was not late is predicate or non-verb. To school is showing the place. Next, we were not careful yesterday. We were not careful yesterday. We is subject, were not careful is non-verb, and yesterday is showing the time in the past. Next, Bobby was not angry last week. Bobby was not angry last week. Let's see this. Bobby is subject and was not angry is non-verb. Last week is showing the past time. Well, let's pay attention to sentences as a noun. So noun means time and place. Look at the example number 1. He was not in school yesterday. He was not in school yesterday. Look at this. In school is showing the place, and yesterday is showing the time in the past. Next, she was not a manager last year. She was not a manager last year. Look at this. A manager is a noun, and last year is showing the time in the past. Next, number 3, he was not a driver last month. He was not a driver last month. He was not a driver is showing the non-verbal predicate, and last month is showing the time. Next, I was not at home last night. I was not at home last night. At home means showing the place. Next, we were not at school yesterday. We were not at school yesterday. Look at this. At school is showing the place, so we say we were not at school yesterday. So yesterday is showing the past time. Well, when you are making interrogative form as non-verbal in simple past tense, we have to be based on this form. We have to be based on this formulation. So we have to understand. We put the be in front of the sentence, like was and were. After that is followed by subject, and then followed by complement. So the complement can be noun, can be place, and can be time. Let's look at these examples. The first example is, was she happy yesterday? Was she happy yesterday? Apakah dia bahagia kemarin? And number 2, was Jack angry this morning? Was Jack angry this morning? Apakah Jack marah tadi pagi? Next, was your house empty last night? Was your house empty last night? Apakah rumahmu kosong semalam? Next, were these cars black 1 year ago? Were these cars black 1 year ago? Apakah mobil ini berwarna hitam 1 tahun yang lalu? Next, were they friendly? Were they friendly? Apakah mereka ramah? Well, so we need to answer these questions when someone asks you a question using simple past tense as non-verbal. We have to be able to answer in short way and in a longer way. So when someone is asking you, was she happy yesterday? When you answer in a short way, you can say yes, she was. And when you answer in a longer way, we can also say yes, she was happy yesterday. Well, was Jack angry this morning? Was Jack angry this morning? We can answer in a short way, we can say yes, he was. When we answer in a longer way, we can also say yes, he was angry this morning. Next, was your house empty last night? Was your house empty last night? Yes, it was. In a longer way, you can also say yes, it was empty last night. Next, were these cars black 1 year ago? Were these cars black 1 year ago? In a longer way, you can say yes, they were black 1 year ago. Next, were they friendly? Were they friendly? We can say yes, they were. And in a longer way, you can say yes, they were friendly. Well, everybody, so when in the sentence we find noun, the noun can be person, place, and time as the predicate. We have to look at these examples. Sentences number 1. Were Tom and Mark police 2 years ago? Were Tom and Mark police 2 years ago? Apakah si Tom dan si Mark polisi 2 tahun yang lalu? Next, were they teachers 4 years ago? Were they teachers 4 years ago? Apakah mereka guru 4 tahun yang lalu? Next, were we in hospital last night? Were we in hospital last night? Apakah kita berada di rumah sakit semalam? Next, was she 23 years old last night? Was she 23 years old last night? Apakah dia berusia 23 tahun semalam? The last, was Jack in New York last week? Was Jack in New York last week? Apakah si Jack berada di New York minggu yang lalu? Of course, we need to answer. We have to answer when somebody asks you a question. When it is formulated in simple past tense as non-verbal, we have to be able to answer questions. So when we answer question, we can use 2 ways. So the first way we can use in a short way, and the second way we can use in a longer way. So were Tom and Mark police 2 years ago? We can answer by this way, yes, they were. And we can also answer by this way, yes, they were police 2 years ago. Next, were they teachers 4 years ago? Were they teachers 4 years ago? Yes, they were. And in a longer way, we can say, yes, they were teachers 4 years ago. Next, were we in hospital last night? Were we in hospital last night? We can answer in a short way, yes, we were. And we can also answer in a longer way, yes, we were in a hospital last night. Next, was she 23 years old last night? Was she 23 years old last night? Yes, she was. We can also answer this way, yes, she was 23 years old last night. Well, the last is, was Jack in New York last week? Was Jack in New York last week? So we can answer these ways in 2 ways. The first way we can say yes, he was. And the second way we can say yes, he was in New York last week. These are the explanations of how to formulate simple past tense when the predicate is non-verbal. So hopefully next time you're able to make sentences in simple past tense using non-verbal and using verb or action verb.